I'm Erica Lopez with your E-Block, and today we have an exclusive. I'm pretty excited about it. You know him as the villainous sheriff in Fargo and one of America's most iconic business execs in Mad Men. Now he's narrated a best-selling book called When Business is Love. Help me welcome Emmy and Golden Globe winner Jon Hamm, joining us live from New York. Jon, thank you so much for being with me today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So you were just saying you really enjoyed the book. Can you tell us a little bit about it? You just narrated it, and it's, a lot of different from some of the roles you've played.
It's an interesting left turn, I suppose, narrating a business book, really. But it's a little more than that. It's about how this man, Jan, has run his business, which is a business called Hästens. They're a 170-some-odd-year-old Swedish bed-making company. He's the fifth generation of the family to run this business. And but what it really is about is sort of life lessons and how to live one's life in a sustainable, wonderful way that gives you back what you put into it. And it's about so much more than just business. And what Jan discovered when he started putting these principles into practice in his business is that they really do inform his life. When you treat your coworkers, your employees, and your customers with love and kindness and gratitude, they bring back even more, and the investment is significant. And that can be extrapolated into how you live one's life. So when I was presented this book to read and possibly as a project to narrate, I thought that might be a nice message to amplify out in the current climate, to maybe put a little more kindness out there rather than the rancor and the partisanship and all of the things that seem to be dominating the conversation at this point.
Yeah, we can always use a lot more kindness, huh? Especially, like you said, it can kind of pass on to different areas of your life, not just business, which is really neat. You, of course, play a billionaire tech giant in the morning show. You were iconic as Don Draper. You've always portrayed like a tough businessman. This book, though, handles business with love. Do you feel like it might be helping evolve the industry, making it be maybe a little bit less toxic?
I think so. I think we're at this sort of inflection point in the world where it's like we can choose to go further down the road we've already well established, or we could maybe take a pause and go, okay, well, what if we did it a different way? And I think that's really what Jan, who took a risk, many years ago, when people weren't really thinking of things that way. And I think now we're a little more acceptable to different ways of doing things. Business doesn't have to be this zero-sum, antagonistic, binary thing of dog eat dog, and if I have to win, and by winning it means that you have less. I think what Jan has discovered is that if you run your business or your life in this way, what it really does is sustain in much more of a real way, and it doesn't need to be this sort of scorched earth thing. It can be really more about helping everybody succeed and thrive.
Well, Jon, I can't thank you enough for taking the time, and best of luck on whatever endeavors are next. Everything you do touches to gold, and truly, I'm such a huge fan.
Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And you all can listen to When Business is Love, narrated by the one and only Jon Hamm, wherever you get your audiobooks, Amazon, Spotify, Audible, you name it.